All right, so we're with the Picote team here in Finland. We've been here for the past couple days, doing some training in their Finland Trenchless training center over here. Pretty awesome, state of the art. Pretty impressed. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, so now we're just going to talk about the history of Picote, from when they started as contractors until, to manufacturers and trainers and world leaders. So we're going to take this opportunity to discuss that.
Yeah.
Just honestly, very much thank you for having us here.
Thank you. Thank you for both coming.
Thanks for
Benny.
having us.
Chaim's not on the camera, but he says thank you also. So we just want to, let's start from here. So basically we have lining as in the beginning, early days, as larger diameter repairs. And then, it starts moving over to smaller in-house on rehabilitation. And Picote is definitely like a world leader in that in-house rehab. So how did Picote start as a company? What was their first?
Well, basically we were in a construction company, and we started in the 90s, and then at 99 we shifted our business to the drain renovations. Okay. And they were still doing that with the traditional method. So then at the time they were then doing those kind of renovations, so digging up the walls and floors then and changing, and then they started to think about, would there be something else that we could do, because there was only like small cracks and they were still tearing down all the walls and wall. So then there was a coating franchisee from Sweden that we took on board then to here, and that started at 2004. Yeah. So from 2004 we had a coating franchisee company, so we were doing the coatings then and doing the in-house. So from like opening and destroying walls, you then shifted over to coating with epoxy. Yes, correct. Yeah. So it was called ducky method then, the coating that was used, and that was used from 2004 until 2008. And 2008 was the year that we developed our own coating system then. Okay. So we wanted to have something better quality, and that was the time we started to use the epoxy then. Yeah. So that's basically how the relining started for us, and it was other companies as well. There was a small group of Finnish entrepreneurs that were doing the coatings as well, and everybody had kind of their own system. And then 2008 we came up with our own coating system then, and later that year we then developed the smart cutter, and that smart cutter then enabled us to start using liners inside. So 2008, when we first started, beginning of the year we were doing the coatings, but then end of 2008 we were already using liners, because that smart cutter, the reinstatement cutter, open us the possibility to use liners inside the building.
So you basically wanted you saw lining as a good solution. Yes. To go from brush coating to lining, but the problem was that you would line over like a branch or a junction. Yeah. You're like, so how do we do this?
Yeah. So that was basically impossible then.
So who came up with the idea for the smart cutter?
It was our chief inventor, so our owner Mika Lokkinen. So then he came up with that one, and that really enabled then, because you could use that one, the cutter, to open the connections, and then we were doing a lot of the so-called hybrid method. So then we were lining the stack pipe, opening up the connections, and then doing the brush coating inside the buildings and so on. So
you still have contractors doing that, globally.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's still being used nowadays as well. So that's basically how it started.
And then how did you then go from there to then actually lining the smaller diameter with all the 90-degree bends?
So that was basically, we contacted then a liner manufacturer, because at the time there was no DN50 or DN70 liners. Okay. So then when they developed those liners, so then that enabled us to use those as well on those small pipes. But at the time there was no liners available. Right. So then we contacted a liner manufacturer, and they made those liners. Oh, cool. So that enabled us then to do the small diameters as well with liners.
Yeah. So then you were starting to basically, once you had the smaller diameter, you were starting to get a complete system.
Yes, correct. And step by step then from that one, using still both methods. For some projects the coating was better, and for some project liners were better. Right.
Okay. So basically the brush coating actually started before the lining, then you got into lining, and then little by little you started trying to figure out how to get over hurdles, and then getting that, some things that you developed yourself, some of the things you kind of found other manufacturers to make the products for you.
Correct. So basically.
And did the first liners that you had, like the first 50 by 70s, were there problems with wrinkles at first, or?
Of course, there was some R&D to be done with those. So the liners that we have nowadays. So of course, there's quite many years since that one. So there has been some development on those. So definitely not the same liners what we can luckily use nowadays.
Sounds like an exciting time period, like the whole transition.
Yeah, I would say that was kind of, I think, one of the
very
projects,
exciting,
one of the first projects as well we did with the liners. So we were not really sure that how to open the connection.
Yeah.
We had the idea for it, and then we built up the smart cutter, and we had the drill head on top of that one.
Industry guinea pig.
Yeah, so then you kind of sell the full
this
line.
This is going to be a long day.
Exactly. So yeah. They probably didn't open the connection that fast as what we do nowadays, but they got them open and they got the project done. So that's how it started.
So would you say that here in the Scandinavian countries, Finland and Sweden, where the in-house lining is such a big market, would you attribute, I guess, as what you're saying, some of it to, like, you were the earlier developers of a lot of the technology in terms of reinstatements and the actual liners themselves? Would you say that because you had an early door, maybe that's why it's more I guess a bigger market here in the.
I think that's one of the reasons as well, but I think the timing was right because we had these Finnish entrepreneurs then pushing for these trenchless methods, and then we had a lot of buildings that were built after World War II.
Okay.
And then in the early 2000, they came in the end of their life cycle. Then the pipes inside that one. So then at the same time, in the beginning of 2000, we had these entrepreneurs with these new ideas that, hey, you don't need to tear down the walls. Plus then there was the demand, because then they came to the 50 years then, and there was a lot of jobs. So I think they really connected, and then it just started from there. And of course there's other things as well, because in Finland the housing associations and all the housing association board makes the decisions then for the apartments. So I think that simplifies the decision-making process for us compared to other countries then, because individual apartment, you own your own pipes. So if you don't want to do rehabilitation on your pipes, so then you can't do it in the whole complex.
So there's like a lot of pieces of the pie that were just right here in Finland. So you have the innovation going on, and entrepreneurs and contractors trying to figure out a better way. And on the other hand, you actually had the right, as you said, the homeowner associations, to be able to get that done, because you could have the right ideas and the right equipment, but you don't have the market for it.
Yeah, exactly. And in Finland as well, we have insurance companies. They are really supporting these preventive methods, like the rehabilitation of the pipes.
The insurance companies support the preventative method.
Yes, because they have a limit how many leaks they're gonna pay. For the older pipes. So that's the reason that they are pushing, and they are not pushing, but they are supporting the preventive methods.
Oh wow.
And so as you guys have been at the job site as well here in Finland, so we are more proactive rather than reactive in here, because we don't do patches that many in here. So we always do all the drains from the rooftop to the city sewer, all the drains. And pipes inside the building.
So that's interesting, because in some countries the insurance companies look to do the bare minimum. And here you're saying they actually want to get it done right the first time, and then get done with it.
Yeah, exactly, because then it's again extra 50 years then after that one, and they don't need to worry.
They're looking at the long term, basically.
They won't get any claims during that whole in the future.
Because you might have leakages in different apartments every year, but now you do all the.
So it's the whole ecosystem basically feeds itself. You have these guys who come up with these ideas, then you have the market that wants it. And because the market wants it, you can then practice and develop and innovate and really hone the skills, and then bring that knowledge to the global market.
That's something we have tried to do, and that's something that we see step by step is happening as well. But of course Sweden and Finland, the timing was right in the early 2000s, and then our the system how we work with the housing associations. So there's 10 guys doing the decisions and not 200. So that really simplifies it.
Oh, okay.
So that's then.
And these are members of.
Yes, the housing.
The housing.
Yes. So they decide the board then, and they will make all the decisions then, and all the other ones as well, not just rehabilitation.
And that's good. My understanding is that's good for actually the building itself, because when everything is renovated, yes. then the market value doesn't drop.
Yes, correct.
So here you are. So you went from the contractors and innovators and developers, and then you're manufacturing your tools. How did you go from contractor to manufacturer, which you're huge manufacturers now?
Well, we started by making the smart cutters then for our own services, and initially the idea was that we were not going to sell them to anyone.
Okay.
So we're just going to use them for our own contracting here. But then many companies, they started to ask for those, and then our liner manufacturer, they visited us here in Finland as well, because we were buying so much small diameter liners from them, so they came here and see that what the guys are doing.
Yeah.
And then we took them to the job site, and we showed them then how we open the connections then with the smart cutters, and then they really told us that, hey guys,
they were excited.
They were excited.
Eye-opening experience.
So
they're like, now we're going to sell more liners now.
Yeah, so then they were telling us then that, hey guys, you need to start selling these products.
It's a good mutual relationship.
So I think that was around 2012 then, and then 2012 there was an IFAT then where we launched these then to the international market, and then we had the MIDI Miller as well.
It wasn't so long ago.
No, at the end of the day, it's
last 10 years.
10 years. So
that's nothing.
Yeah.
Look who you guys are now.
Yeah, exactly. And then 2012, later that year we won the product of the year then with the smart cutter.
Yeah.
Then in the Trenchless Society, and then 2017, as you see, so we have the Picote services and we have the Picote solutions.
Yeah.
So
Picote services is the contracting company?
Yes. So Picote services is the contracting company, and they are only doing the contracting here in Finland. Then Picote solution is then the tool manufacturer.
International.
Yeah. So 2017. So until 2017, they were both the same company, and then 2017 we separated them. So Picote Solutions was separated then from the Picote Services.
Okay.
So that's.
So basically when you started manufacturing internationally, or did you start basically manufacturing for more local companies?
Basically both, because they both came in the same year. So they were companies from Finland that were interested to buy from us, and then was the resellers then outside of Finland that were interested in the reseller.
So were you marketing more through the trade fairs, IFAN stuff, or were you marketing also through these manufacturers that were getting the word out?
Both basically. So of course we were a lot of trade shows in the beginning we did by ourselves, but then with the resellers as well later on.
Resellers, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you mentioned Mika.
Yeah.
We met him in Rokitech a few years ago. 4 years ago.
Yeah, yes. I think it's 4 years already. The last one, yeah.
He says he goes to sleep, he wakes up, and it just hits him. Another idea.
Yeah, it is.
One of his 250 patents or something.
Yeah, it is. And then he's calling somebody because he needs to tell that one, because then he falls asleep again, so he doesn't remember that.
And it has to get done.
Yeah, so you need to remember to call someone. So hopefully somebody picks it up the phone at 3 a.m. and writes it down then. So yeah. But yeah, Mika is our chief inventor then, so they have started the company, and nowadays we have then a team of 6 engineers. So we have an R&D office up in north in Oulu.
Okay.
So there we have six engineers, plus we have the Picote services then. So them really working together then is our R&D then. So all the new tools that we develop, so we always test them first. Like you guys were doing the new steamer, so you have seen that one. So that's already been with our services over 1 year.
So you've before you basically bring the tools out to sell, market, you're testing them with your team.
Correct.
A lot of feedback from the guys in the field.
Yeah. So we wanna, because every tool that we make, we wanna have them so that they are made for the job sites.
Yeah.
So that's good for us, and we can just test all our products with the guys.
Work out the bugs.
Services. Yeah.
Are there other people coming up with ideas, or is it mainly Mika?
It is now. There is the whole team then that is coming up with the ideas. There's Picote services. There's got a lot of ideas coming there. There is the team of 6 engineers, so they come up with ideas all the time. And then of course Mika has still very good ideas all the time. So
are there customers that have ideas or requests, and then you kind of based off of that start
It is of course, and that's very important for us as well to talk with our partners as well outside, because of course the markets are different. So we cannot develop all our tools for the Finland.
Infrastructures are different and how things are built.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes something works here, but it might not work in your country. So of course we need to talk and communicate with the resellers and partners all the time and see what the different markets and what the needs are.
Yeah. People like to talk about successes, but like, what were some of the failures that you've had, and then how did you address them to kind of, push forward?
I would say, really in the beginning, we rushed out with some of the products in the market. So we had some new products, and we saw the potential, and there was a huge demand. So we a little bit rushed then.
Okay.
I think that was some of the mistake, but then we took the products back.
That's probably a mistake that a lot of like smaller companies that are trying to really like get themselves known make.
Yeah, could be, and that's probably the reason. And but now we have put really much focus on that one, that we really like we already discussed about the steamer.
Exactly.
So it's still not, we are not still not shipping them out.
Yeah.
And they have been already testing it for over the year.
That's a long
service.
time.
It is, and of course in the meantime they have been testing it. They have been sending back to the R&D. You need to do this, and that, and then it is being shipped back, and then they have been using it well. But now everything is locked, and we should be shipping them out next month. So.
Well, we have the compressor going on because we shot a liner waiting for the cure.
Yeah.
So gotta wait for that compressor to turn off.
Yeah.
On the job site, you're like talking.
A good sound and a bad sound.
Yes.
Depending on.
Yes. Is it gonna turn off? It's not turning off. Oh crap! What happened?
Yeah.
As long as it's plugged in.
Yes.
As long as it's not battery powered.
As long as some guy upstairs didn't unplug it because he had to put his water.
That's quite. Actually, that is a Thailand. Compressor. So it's quite big.
How many liters is that?
Like 200. Things like mine, There we go. Yeah, so what I like about that new steamer is it has you could just set the temperature.
Yeah.
Right, let's say 85.
Digital.
Yeah. And you don't have to sit there and like wait a couple minutes to make sure it's not moving up, moving down.
Yeah.
You just hit the temperature and then it calibrates itself. It goes up, it goes down, but it's always set around there. So you just walk away and.
Yeah, that's kind of like when we have our own services. So that's kind of what they requested as well. So they do the connection liners with that one. So they want to set it up to 80 degrees, and then they want to go to the next connection. So then they don't need to have another guy watching the steamer.
Yeah.
So again, some of the things that we then get to know when we test them with the Picote services.
Recently, you started manufacturing the packers, Pro Canal packers, which is interesting because in Finland, you think about lining, it's Germany or other places that are more into patching.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised. Picote started making those packers. How did that come about?
So basically, that kind of landed into our lap. So Pro Canal owns the patent for the bendy packers. So they have the patent owners, but they are not a manufacturer. So they are always licensing the manufacturer for some other company. And now they contacted us then, and they reached out that, hey guys, we see that you do a good quality products.
Okay.
So would you guys be interested to manufacture our products? And of course we knew the packers already before very well. Yeah. And we were honored to take that one and take them on board. So that's kind of how it started. And
what I like about it, which was like every time you have a product, as you said, you always want to test it. And you want to see how you can make it better. Yeah. So I understand also when you got the packers, you want to see is there something we could fine tune on the packers themselves.
Yeah, of course there was, and that's why we really did it because our guys doesn't really use packers in here, so they don't really know then what to say about when we send it to them. So we send them internationally then, so we send it to markets like Germany where they use more packers. So we send it to them and they would test them out then. So that's very, very important that we have international partners then. So
I just gotta say, I like the aesthetics on the packers.
They're sleek.
Have a nice look.
They are nice, and you just saw the production hall of the packers as well. So we are very, very excited to get those running now.
So what would you say is your vision looking forward?
I think when we look at the Swedish and the Finnish market for the in-house, so I think that's the goal, that's the vision. We want to grow the in-house market and start to, of course, maybe our market is easier for that one, but still in some stages, step by step, starting to do the coding, starting to do it with the hybrid method, and starting to do that one and help the contractors as well. We have a big technical team here as well, so really like go to the contractors and teach them that hey, this is how you do it, and then step by step together with the partners then to grow the in-house market for the small diameter pipes.
And part of that is through training centers.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's all about what is the next step then in our small diameter, because there is already solutions, there is already tools and everything exists. So we didn't have tools then in 2004 or when we started liners 2008, so there was nobody to ask, so we were just putting the, what was they called, flippy flappers.
Yeah, flipper flappers, you got it.
Yeah, so a smart cutter if nobody knows, so that's the name.
Smart cutters.
Each their own.
So that one, so we need to develop the tools, but all the tools and solutions exist. I think it's all about education.
Yeah.
So educating people on how to do it, and then of course the training centers and the guys that can do and come and help is very important, because like I said, all the solutions, tools, they exist. So it's just educating people, and educating people as well, of course the contractors as well, but then as well like the people who are taking care of the buildings, for example, in other countries as well.
I think in your country you said that you already have that awareness in the building, the housing committees, but a lot of other countries, they don't have that awareness yet.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes a lot more education, not just on the people out in the field and the contractors, but I think a lot more sometimes on the governmental agencies and
property owners, for example. Exactly. So that's something that we need to do. Then we started 2004. So there was a really much work that was done towards educating these property owners that hey, there is this method called Trenchless, and you don't need to tear down your walls. So we did that work in the early 2000, but I think that's something we need to do as well internationally then.
I think so, because education is so important, because one is like awareness, right? People, the homeowners being aware, and also engineers understanding, what's acceptable, what's not. Some engineers, I don't want you to line the pipes, that's not a proper repair. But they have to understand that sometimes lining can actually be better for many reasons than replacing a pipe. It's more environmentally friendly. You don't have to dig things up. There's a lot less waste. The life expectancy, when done correctly, could be as long or even longer than certain pipe installations. But they're not always aware of it just because they haven't been educated.
Yeah, exactly. And then always look at what is the other option as well, because you need to repair your pipes anyway at some point. So I came up sometimes that people are saying that okay, I cannot use my drains when they are rehabbing it. Well, again, what is the other option? So you tear down the wall, so you're not going to be able to even stay at your house. Now we give you the option that you can still stay there, maybe not to use
nice bucket toilet,
for example. But I think that's nowadays quite many when you are at work. So working places, they have showers and toilets. So
I think the biggest challenge internationally is convincing homeowners that they can use the bucket.
I think so. I think that's our goal.
Because here I don't know why, but here they're okay with it.
Yeah, that's our goal. 23 goal.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Design a fancier bucket.
There you go.
A little bit fancy. Golden pellets.
Yes, you've been focusing on the tools. You haven't been focusing on the golden bucket.
That's a good point.
See this? We get props for that. Mika doesn't get credit for that one. So so I guess where would you say, where do you see the market going in the next 10 plus years, in the global market?
I think it will go towards now. I think now is the time, and I can already see now what has been happening in the past couple of years. So the in-house market, I think that's going to explode. So I think we see it as well. Many countries like France, for example, is starting to pick it up very well. Germany as well. So I think that's it's coming now. So that's something we have been waiting for many years now. So I think
because I think also now the spread of social media.
It is.
The web. So you get a lot of those people who might have never had the chance to see or learn about these small
I think so.
things. Once they actually see it with their own eyes and they learn about how this actually works.
And we can do it.
We can do it.
And there's all the references as well.
Implement the things as well.
And we have. And the companies in Finland, so we have already done the mistakes that we have done in the beginning, so we don't need to make those mistakes again. So
before I got into pipe patching, I was doing plumbing, and I thought that pipe patching and robots were for these large companies, and how am I ever going to do that? But then, as Benny was saying about social media, I started understanding, you don't have to get a jetter, you can start with a flex shaft. Now it's kind of my gateway drug into pipe patching. And now I actually educate people in Israel how to do pipe patching. So I think so this the fact that the small guys realize that they have someone to look towards and to ask questions and to get that technical support. I think that's what makes the market right now so hot.
I agree. I fully agree, and as well contractors and manufacturers doing it together, so cooperating as well. So because there's a traditional that is still the number one, and in many countries they do it the traditional way. So I think we should all together, all the contractors and all the manufacturers, so do it together rather than
And I think it's also very important that you have training facilities like this, because now that we have all those small people who are getting into uncharted territory and uncharted waters, starting to get into things they don't really fully understand. They have that, proper training from someone who has all the 10 years previous of trial and error and experience to really, do it properly.
Exactly. And you see the training center as well in the background. It's important that we also do like the setup that we did today. So it's not a straight DN100 pipe, then you do it for 3-4 meters, but it's a real job size scenario. So then you only work with the camera, you have the down pipes, and you have bends there and diameter changes. So it's kind of like the same that you would be on a job site.
And you tailor the training basically on what kind of jobs that people are doing, what they have done and what they haven't done. Whether it's working with the millers or reinstatements or junctions or liners. All different types of...
it is, and of course we have a lot of customers coming here that they don't know what liner is. So then we start from really basics. But then for you guys, for example, so then we just put 390s next to each other and start to lining through the flow drains. So there's different kind of trainings then.
That's awesome. All right, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for having us in Finland.
Well, thank you guys for coming over. So it was nice to have you guys here.
We hope to see you again soon.
I need to come to Israel. So
more than welcome.
Never been there.
Escape the snow.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
it's been
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See you guys next time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Benny, ready to get a rock and roll?
Igualmente.
That's right. right, guys, we finished our first day of training at Picote. How'd it go, guys?
It was amazing. Eye-opening.
Unbelievable.
Yeah?
Really nice.
You liked it, Volvo? Yeah.
Volvo's too tired for me.
You gotta take a break now.
I think tomorrow Volvo's gonna do shoot the liners.
Yeah.
He thought they would have a sauna at the training center, but he was quite surprised.
They gotta get music speakers so we can play some music, but
You know, whatever, you know.
it's
Baby music.
Maybe we'll go to the mall today.
well, it's the facilities are pretty awesome, so we're excited.
Crazy facilities.
Let's see what we got for tomorrow. So do we jump in the river today?
I don't know. Maybe we'll jump in the sauna first.
Try it here in this small pond first. Let's go.
Volvo, I don't understand. Come on, you look like the kind of guy who wants to do it.
No.